Hello antique fans and welcome to my antique channel. This is Deanna speaking from Vintage Touch Antiques. Today I'd like to give you another tour of my home office. I say another tour because I have done other tours of this room before on video. But with the help of my husband and grandson this past summer, I was able to redecorate this room. They helped me with the painting of many of the furniture pieces, which I turned into white. I have antique accents in this room, so I was able to incorporate the white with the other accent pieces for an attractive but functional office. I work better in an attractive, organized space, so that was the objective as I set out to redecorate and redo this room. I chose black toile fabric, and I made the curtain accents there and the chair cover and some other of the black toile accent pieces that you see in this room. Now this is a small room, and so the placement of your furniture pieces was very critical in order for it to be able to be inviting, still have a spacious type of look to it, and still provide the function that I needed for it to provide. This room is where I list my items that I put on sale online. This is where I photograph them. This is where I do the sewing and repairs of textiles and linens and things like that, and also where I store the vintage items that I have for sale online. So as you can see, it does have to operate in a variety of different ways, along with giving us our own personal office as well as the business paperwork. So without any further ado, let's just get started, because I'm going to try to go into some detail about the use of the space and how I do it. So just turning the corner here on my left, let me start by showing you this area here. This area is where I have my sewing machine. As you can see, the Sewing Notions cabinet there to the left, and the sewing machine antique drawers there on the right that holds threads and so forth. I have this thread rack here on the left with all the different colors of thread to make that easy to access so that you don't have to go searching for everything. I even have a flexible measuring tape here that I pull down and use sometimes when I'm showing the size of things in photography. This is where I photograph as well as sew. The hanging lace tablecloth there on the back just comes out over my sewing machine, making for a soft backdrop for photos. This storage cabinet that's on the wall above it is an antique storage cabinet, and I was quite happy to get this piece because it serves the purpose that I needed so well. I did leave it brown because I didn't want to change it because of the fact that it is an antique, and like I said, that puts brown accents into this room. But this piece, because you have to use your vertical space when you're dealing with a small footprint, just really does go up that wall real well without coming out from the wall very far. As you can see, it's not very deep. And that was just perfect for this space so that I could still raise the lid on my sewing machine. Now, as you can see inside, it holds a variety of things that I can easily access for sewing. Hanging on each side of this cabinet are lights, which helps in photography when I'm photographing an item. They have daylight bulbs in them, which makes it nice. On the side, I've got these little shelves, and that leads to an attractiveness, but also functionality, as well as for things like that antique pincushion, which I use, as you can see, and I can just pull that down when I need to. The little display that's high up there on top is an antique display with some spools and a thread box and so forth, and it just adds that little antique decorative element that I like in all of my rooms, because of course I'm an antique dealer, so what would you expect, right? To the left of that is my double doors that lead into my storage closet here, and I have black tassels on the front for a decorative element. Try to get these doors open without too much trouble here with one hand. Now this closet, I've tried to make it as decorative as I can. It's not where I'd like for it to be, but it works, and it doesn't look too bad. I do have the shelves and bins numbered and identified, and that becomes part of the number that you'll see on my listings, so that whenever I have something that sells, I know exactly where to go and get it. This closet is really quite spacious for such a small room, and because of that there's room to have all of these storage boxes, not storage boxes, but packaging boxes and things right here, easy to access, because we also use the sewing machine that I just showed you for that's where we will pack up things and get them ready to ship them out. Okay, now on this wall, on this shelf unit that I have here, I've used early textile spools, and I have wrapped lace trims and things that I need for sewing and repairs around those textile spools. They make an attractive display, but also make it very easy for me to just look up there, see what I have, pull down one of those spools, and easily access the lace pieces. This little stand here is also quite functional. This is where we have our digital scale and our larger scale, and this little rack here just holds tape and glue and things of that nature. And the little stand even houses my batteries and camera supplies and so forth. That little rack there is a pull-around file rack that I use for whenever I'm planning. I'm a planner and an organizer, and so I always have a planner on my desk. I even have a nice little dust buster there that for quick cleanups. When you get out that styrofoam, sometimes it's all over the place. Now this is a nice antique bench here. I love this because it is small and yet provides a place for someone to sit if you have someone in the office with you when you're working. I did make a toile cushion there to cover the seat to go with the rest of the room. And the bin down below, I put toile on the outside of it. This holds some of my fabric scraps, and I put furniture sliders on the bottom so it will easily pull out. Now this wall, this becomes the focal point when you walk into the room. This is a corner cupboard which we painted white, and I'm sorry, but you will see my reflection there in that glass. And I have used some of my office type of collectibles to decorate the top there, as well as, and I will try to open the door for you here. As well as use this space for decorative purposes. Now I do reach in here sometimes and get an old document or something that I think would be appropriate to put with an item to stage it for display on photos. And down below, I'm going to show you this too, is another storage area for textiles and things for repairs. And I took those boxes and I covered them with toile type of contact paper. So let me close these up. I try to have mementos and things to personalize this space as well, making it my little woman cave, I guess. This stand here, this unit here, my husband did paint that white for me as well. And this unit, you can see it's totally open in the back here, but you don't see that until you come into the room and walk around to the back. So in the back of here, of course, I have printer paper and supplies, office supplies and things that when you get to this section of the room, you don't see. Now this little unit here on the left, I have it filled with just things that I need at my fingertips, like maybe a hole punch for an album, or just old baskets there full of things, again, that I need to access. Here's an antique file drawer that I have for business receipts and stuff. And this is my desk area. You can see my family photo parade there on my computer. Now some people may say that your desktop is way too cluttered, and it is cluttered as far as comparing it to a minimalist look. But I frankly do better whenever I have things at my fingertips. So the things that are essential to me in operating my business and stuff, I have them strategically placed so that I can quickly access them and process orders and do listing and things of that nature. I did paint some of the accent pieces on my desk white, like this little lamp, and some of my office things like my tape dispenser, stapler, and so forth there on the right. I do keep mementos in this room to try to personalize it. Like I said, this is kind of my woman cave. And right now I've got some orange accents because I'm using my orange or my caramel colored planner. I always have a planner right there on my desk, and that is what keeps me organized, that book right there. To the right, these colorful racks here hold washi tape, which is something that I try to use in my planner just to make it attractive, and it's kind of fun to do. I have a bulletin board that has some family pictures but is also functional. Calendar there and some notes and things that I can quickly see if I need to. I even use on the back side, these are my file cabinets that we painted white. On the back, on this side of them, I have these magnetic file holders. I try to use every space in this room, and there's a paper shredder that hangs on the wall. Even down below here, you can see some things that I've got down there where I store them beside my desk. Like I said, when you're dealing with a very small room, you have to take advantage of all space. So this is my two file cabinets, again painted white. I have this antique cabinet here that I kept in brown so that I didn't destroy the integrity of the piece. It's a real nice cabinet, and I use that to store scraps and bias tape and ribbon and elastic and things of that nature. Above that is a shelf that is used to archive business records from the past, and also some of my labels and all that type of thing that I use. And even above the entrance door, I have a shelf with some attractive storage boxes up there, again, to hold various things that you may need in your office. Things that you wouldn't have to get to right away, but they're still here. On this side of the cabinet, I even have hanging there with very big hooks. I mean, for magnetic purposes, because you're putting some weight on them. They have to be strong. And I even have my work bag that I hang there, that I carry to the shop with me for things. And then there's one little tray full of flowers that I use for staging photos. So that concludes this video tour of my office. And I do thank you for watching. And before I close, I would like to invite you or direct your attention to the description of my video, where you will find the links to my webpage as well as my online store and other social media sites. I'd also like to take the time to invite you to visit me where I sell antiques. That's in Antique Crossroads, Hagerstown, Maryland. You'll find my Vintage Touch booth on the left side of that mall, third row. Just look for the large Vintage Touch sign that hangs in the back of my space. I'd also like to invite you to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And hit that notification button if you would, so that you will be reminded when I have a video that's just been posted. And then finally, let me encourage you in your collecting of antiques and also in your organizing of your home and decorating your home. And if you have any questions or comments, just please leave them below. I'll be happy to help you with anything that I can. And then finally, remember to enjoy collecting and to learn about your antiques, because when you own an antique, you own a piece of history. So bye-bye till next time.